Cheers. We are live. It is another episode of Off Centered. It feels like we haven't done one in like 3 months because we did the draft last time.
Me and Neo did the draft. I mean, we participated. Were you there? We thought you had a stand-in clone or something drafting that team.
I picked a team. I didn't realize that Joe Burrow was going to get paid and then decide, like, you know what, guys? I'm out. I'm not playing football anymore. I just don't care.
What happens when you face the Browns?
Meanwhile, Deshaun Watson, actually, he was just intimidated by Deshaun Watson. That's really what happened.
Right. Well, anyway, congratulations to the Saints.
Yes.
Congratulations to the Browns. Congratulations to the Dolphins. In fact, we all won. I just had to answer an Instagram message from someone saying, with a picture of a Tua card saying, "Is Tua winning you over?" Now, Tua has always won me over as a player from a talent standpoint. And it's not like I dislike him, but I have to answer. I answer my IGs. But I've always liked Tua. It's just the injuries. They scare me. And they don't scare me from an investment standpoint because I don't own Tua cards. They scare me because he's my favorite quarterback on my favorite team, or quarterback for my favorite team. And, we go the way of him pretty much. So, and I don't see any head injuries on the field.
Let's go around with a quick week one. Are you overreacting, underreacting? Like, what's your thought? Week one is always the Bermuda Triangle in the NFL.
Well, yeah, and that would be for the NFL, but are we overreacting for our fantasy? Nia, we have to discuss fantasy.
The fact that you guys won and I lost is a definite overreaction.
Right. So Neo and I will discuss what it's like to win in week one on fantasy, and maybe you can take some pointers and, recover for this week. Who do you play this? Oh, you play Ziggy this week. That's a story. That's a story within a story right there. Anyway.
Oh, this is like loser leaves town.
I just feel bad that Chris Sewell got cheated out of a win because you added new rules in after the fact.
Those aren't new rules. Quit trying to. You're trying to deter anything away from the fact that you lost.
Chris, his text messages would say otherwise. But you're
no.
fine.
He said he had one message. He just didn't know what the scoring, what happened. But once he was told what happened, he understood.
Oh, I'm sure he's fine. I'm sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Everybody knows defense gets 6 points for touchdowns, and when you set it up on ESPN, which I've never used, you hit the default button and it says defensive touchdowns by default are 6. But then you got to go below that and specifically say which touchdowns count as 6, not just touchdowns in general. I didn't know that. I never set the format up before.
Got it. Dustin's definitely pivoted off of the real thing here, and that is the Dustin versus Ziggy fantasy football game this week.
Yeah, I feel like a loser. We should get a couple weeks of videos out of that, right?
Yeah, I feel like the loser should have to sponsor a video on the other one's channel or something.
Yeah, right. Dustin doesn't want to talk about it because now if he wins, he'll have a lot to say. Probably he doesn't want to talk about it.
I won't. I won't say. Well, win or lose, I won't say anything. I'll keep it to myself.
I mean, I'm going to talk when I beat certain people. When I destroy Hambone, man, it's going to be on.
You play Ham this week?
No, I get Chris Sewell, so it's hard to talk. It's hard to talk smack.
I got Jeff Wilson. This is a big fantasy matchup this week for some of us.
Yeah, you guys both won with undeserving teams, from what I saw.
Who, me?
I mean, really, all of you. It's like week one, Bermuda Triangle, weird stuff happened. Joe Burrow. Yeah. Joe Burrow threw for 78 yards. Look, Deshaun Watson scores 3 times as no. He scored 8 times as many points as Joe Burrow. That's never going to happen again.
I played Ziggy. Do you need the neuralizer this week, Dustin, to erase your memory of this week's fantasy debacle?
Can you erase his draft?
Well, yes, technically I can.
I can't wait to be back again to talk about this. It's going to be fun because it's going to be slow start and strong finish. It's going to be fun. All right. So, Rob, getting serious for a second, did your Browns win deservedly? Do you feel good about what's coming? Or do you feel like, it's week one, I'm not getting my hopes up. I'm going to keep on going. And then, Steve, you can kind of speak to the Dolphins.
Their defense Browns defense looked pretty legit, but I don't know how much of that was busted up Joe Burrow and no preseason Joe Burrow. I think their defense is going to be good. The question just comes down to, can Watson be above average? And if Watson's above average, they will be a perfectly fine NFL team and probably flirt with the playoffs.
All right, Steve, Dolphins, fluke beating the Chargers or legit? They did give up about 400 points.
Right. No, it wasn't a fluke.
A couple more.
It wasn't a fluke because everybody expected that game to be a shootout. If you looked at the Vegas odds and scoring, and especially if you're a fantasy football player, you should be looking at the games that are predicted with high overs because that's the players that you want to play in those games. It knew it was going to be a high-scoring shootout. Both teams were supposed to have improved their defense. With the Chargers, are supposed to have a defensive coach, but we knew that was going to be high-scoring. And am I scared that maybe Miami's defense is really weak? I'm really not. I think the Chargers have a really good offense also. So in today's NFL, teams score points except for the Giants. And but and that was just a situation. It was like the perfect day. It was the perfect weather. San Diego was at home, and both teams their offensive players just played good football. But Miami made the defensive plays at the end to win. And turnovers were limited by both teams too. It wasn't really sloppy. So
I'm pretty sure that I could throw touchdown passes to Tyreek Hill. That guy is like from another planet. He's insane. He doesn't. Did you see the separation? The fact that there was no separation, that one touchdown to the back of the end zone where they were all like draped over each other, and like Tua threw it right in between them, and he caught it like on the other guy's body and just kind of like walked backwards. I mean, it's like,
no, that was like the perfect throw by Tua.
Yeah, great throw by Tua.
Tyreek Hill had to make the catch in coverage, which he should do. He's a Pro Bowl wide receiver, but Tua had to make the catch, and those are the throws that Tua has always excelled at. The short stuff, accuracy's never been his problem. It's always been how strong is his arm. Can he chunk it downfield? Right. And he did throw a long interception in the end zone that was kind of like a fluttering duck. I think it kind of probably came off his hand funny because the ball just didn't come out right. But he's still hitting those long passes in stride and throwing up the seam really well and things like that. Tua passed for 466 and 3 touchdowns and was probably a top 3, probably the top fantasy quarterback for this week. So I know we're talking NFL, but when you intertwine someone's performance and you relate it to fantasy points as well, you know that they're putting up numbers. And he was doing the same thing last year. We started like this last year. Remember the Ravens game? That was like week 2. So it's just all about his health. And I watched some of that game. And I thought watching the game, I was going to be nervous because I was just like, man, I don't want to see the injury, the lockup.
Right. Yeah.
If somebody gets hurt, they gets hurt. If something happens and he rolls an ankle or hurts a shoulder or something, that is what it is. I don't want to see a head injury is what I don't want to see.
Right. I'm all over this chat, Mike. No one panic.
I'm far behind.
Let's put another shrimp on the bobby. Philly Joe, what's going on? Dustin, Dad, Ryan, what's up, man? Michael Stone in the house. Zach Wilson to the moon, according to Billy. That's obvious. I spent every last dime I had on Zach Wilson last night, like everybody else did. Duh. Who won week 1 fantasy? Jason, we already covered that. And
I have a video on it, but me and Neo won.
Yeah, we already covered that. I'm already going to therapy for my fantasy.
He's got an appointment with Rob next week, and I don't mean in fantasy football. with Rob, sports card therapist.
I set a high bar against Ziggy. I almost doubled his score up. So you got work to do this week, Dustin.
That was the neuralizer game of the week.
Yeah, I just need the weird stuff to not happen. Like Joe Burrow forgot how to play football. I need that.
Like redrafting your team.
So Joe Burrow plays the Ravens. Oh, I didn't get to talk about my Saints. Let's back up. I need about.
He's going to solely throw this on Joe Burrow.
Hold on a second. I need to go back and talk about my Saints picking up a big victory against the Titans. Might actually be one of the tougher teams on our entire schedule, and we eked it out. Derek Carr got cheated out of many amazing plays. Future like Joe Montana 2.0. Derek Carr. Actually, our line really did not hold up very well. Trevor Penning, one of our starting tackles, got just worked all game long. A lot of guys struggled, but the Titans D-line is really, really good. I think the Titans are, outside of their quarterback, Tannehill, I think that everything else lines up perfectly for them.
Yeah, what was the final of that? Because last time I looked, it was 16-15. So, yeah, Tannehill turned it over 3 times. He played terrible. Their number 1 receiver and running back are, both pushing Social Security. So it's kind of like, I'm not very impressed.
But they're good in the
go ahead.
They're good in the trenches, man. They're good in the trenches. Their defense, I mean, it was smart.
You guys weren't able to run. I know that.
We didn't even try. We didn't try to run, which I thought was smart. They just threw the ball the whole time. So that was tough on Carr because basically the pass rush was like, all right, well, we know they're going to throw every single down. So they were just coming after us, but eked it out. The road to the Super Bowl, we're one game in, a few more to go, and we'll be holding up the Lombardi. Previously recorded in front of a live studio audience.
Yeah, Miami was also playing without Teron Armstead, our number one left tackle, too, which is huge for Tua to not get beat down in the pocket.
He's like that. I know all about Armstead.
Forever. But McDaniel's called a great game. That's something else I didn't touch on. He's keeping Tua safe with the types of plays that he knows we need to run, get the ball out quick, things like that. So protect him with the plays, protect him with the quarterback or with the line, and then every now and then hit him over the top with Tyreek Hill.
All right, so enough football. What about cards? Are you guys buying any cards this week, or what's the story?
Zach Wilson. I'm just kidding. Yeah, but I'm not buying anything that I'm looking to flip right now. I've made some sales this week. I've made more sales than I have buys. Last week, well, I guess it carried into this week. I had sold 4 Sam Darnolds. And I sold 2 Deshaun Watsons. So,
wait, I've been buying Sam Darnold. Are you shipping those to me? Is that you that's selling all those?
I have more if you would like some more.
No, I actually on ComC, shout out ComC, channel partner, Neo as well. Steve, not for you. So
not for me.
Just don't even.
Nope.
I
don't
sold
like me.
Darnold's. It was Darnold's on Sunday. I sold a couple of them, and Jordan Loves. Sold a couple of Jordan Loves out there.
Yeah, see, I buy and sell on ComC, so they won't sponsor me.
Any of you guys consider going on the Sports Card Nonsense podcast? I'm not cool enough. I'm not Darren Ravel. I'm not Jeff Wilson or whoever else they got on there. I'm not cool
Sports
enough.
Card Nonsense.
That's Mike Gio and Jesse. Rob, would you go on there if they're?
I've heard of the name, but I'm not super familiar with it.
Yeah, if they asked me, I would. I met those guys at the National. We exchanged DMs occasionally.
Yeah.
I don't socialize much outside of the ring. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I like to just be like, keep it limited.
Keep your circle small.
You have to, man.
Do we want Mike Gio in? Maybe not. I don't know. So I'm on the fence.
Yeah, I talked to Gio at the Beckett party at the National, and then I talked to Jesse on the show floor and at the Beckett thing.
Cool. I've talked to him too, Rob. Fine. Cool. Awesome. All right. Bitter doesn't want to pay for the Aaron Rodgers rookie now. How many people sold Rodgers and now have to relist them or put them back in their case for another year?
Nope. No Aaron Rodgers. It's funny that you say that, though, because the only card that I've ever had someone attempt to return on me wasn't Aaron Rodgers, but this was probably 2 seasons ago or a year and a half ago at least. And I actually won the PayPal and eBay case, the dispute against me. They had the card for 30 days and then wanted to return it, claiming that the PSA case was correct when they got it. And they're just like, well, why did you wait 30 days to say that the PSA case was correct? And I sent eBay immediately wrote it off, but PayPal, they hold their stuff up forever. So I had to send pictures of PayPal of my actual listing and the card and my shipping and all that. And I did. And then they threw it out. And they didn't take money away from me. I don't know if they still gave that person a refund or not, but I didn't lose anything from it.
Niners look pretty good against the Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
I think they looked like over. I mean, yeah, they're good, but I just feel like that big win was just kind of like another kind of week one, like whatever. Let's see if they can keep it.
Well, just wait till Sam Darnold gets the keys to that car.
Jesus. What is
Up and dump Steve?
Up and dump Steve.
No.
Yeah.
I'm just saying Purdy looks good, but he's not asked to do a whole lot. And that a lot of times that can make a quarterback really good when you're not asked to do a whole lot. And,
wet wipes. I could probably get it 20 yards downfield. I could do fade route. I could do quick slants to these. I could throw a quick slant to Tyreek Hill and probably be all right. I feel like I could do that. It'd be fine.
Man, your quick slant would be going the other way for 6.
Dude, it's a 3-step drop.
Jump that route.
It's a.
I could probably jump that route, and I have 0 acceleration.
All right, we'll see.
You get tackled once and be in traction for like 8 months.
That sounds like good content, Steve. Let's put that together.
Yeah, right.
The old man, like how Dustin and Steve tore an ACL in the same day. Jags are the next Super Bowl champs. Actually, Ham beat me with Calvin Ridley had a big day, and that's partly why I lost. Partly. Okay, so Joe Burrow's broken legs they're going up against the Ravens next. Derek Carr is my other quarterback, of course. Duh. They're playing the Panthers at Carolina, which frankly, they haven't played well against Carolina because I've been to the last 2 games and they just haven't played well. So do I start Joe Burrow against the Ravens that are probably going to be all over him? Or you think he bounces back? Or is it Derek Carr against his Panthers? Steve,
now you want to ask for fantasy advice. You hear that? First of all, our wins were a fluke.
Whoa. I'm talking about
okay.
I'm not asking you guys. I'm asking.
He's pawning it off on chat now.
I don't care what you guys think. I'm going to do whatever I want. But if chat would like to throw in Derek Carr against the Panthers, or
he's just fishing for engagement.
Mm-hmm. You see, come on, man. If you have to even question yourself there,
first off, by the time you see the answers,
you go with it. It's fantasy.
The lineups will have already logged.
In about 45 minutes, we'll see the answers.
Don't overthink it. Throw
It'll be week 3 by the time you see the answers.
You know what, guys? I heard recently that we're not talking enough about card porn. I've heard that now that there's not enough coverage on it. Let's go around and just get a quick take on Steve. Are we getting enough coverage of that story? Are enough people talking about it, or should more people be talking about the card porn debacle?
Should more people be talking about it, or are there enough people talking about it?
I've probably seen 400 posts or videos on it in the last 10 days. But I heard that there's not enough talk about it. What's your take?
I don't care.
Okay.
Honestly, I scroll my YouTube video feed and I watch a couple videos. I scroll Instagram and I see some stuff, but
I just assume you stop
some
everything.
stuff.
Like you guys stop eating dinner.
Well, no, like some stuff
as soon as my video pops up, you stop everything and just you guys.
Look, I don't do the hobby to worry about a whole bunch of extra stuff. I just don't. I do it to have fun, and rather, I'm not against people putting up news and talking and bringing awareness to certain things that awareness needs to come to. That's fine. That's not why I'm here, though. I'm not here to defend it or to promote it. I'm just here to do what I do, and that's to try to just have a good time. And I don't have time even for all of it. Like I have very little time. And yesterday was my birthday. I did stuff with my friends and my family. I'm running 4 fantasy teams now. I try to put out a video. I got the job. My job consumes a lot of what I do. Like I get little breaks here and there where I can watch YouTube or I can watch Instagram. And a lot of times it's not even hobby content related. It might be a music video or a reaction to Ahsoka Tano, which is what I'm watching right now also. So
I need to go watch that latest one.
And Emergency Awesome and watching them do rundowns of the Star Wars episodes and stuff. I would rather watch that and be entertained than listen to things about other stuff, like the card porn situation. Like I got an idea of what's going on, but I don't need to just that be what I'm doing.
Well, and here's the problem. I only did 7 or 8 videos on it, so it's been pretty scant for me. But no, I've done a couple videos, but from what I've seen, there's not really any new news on it. So, I mean, I could break up the information that I've got, I guess, into 24 videos if I guess, but I just don't have.
You would never.
Right. I mean, I feel like there's people out there that do content that's specifically what they do.
Well, and if they've got more information,
and that's fine. Right. And if they find, and that's fine. That's their content. That's what they do, but that's not me. And I will watch a couple of those videos here and there just to stay in the loop and see what's up and see what's true and what's not and what's being presented. But I'm not going to take time to put up a video because that's not me. That's not what I do. And I just have better things to do with my time beyond the hobby, period, beyond YouTube, period. So yeah, I'm just not, I'd rather recap our fantasy football, league. I'd rather do a video talking about who won and lost in our fantasy football league. And if it gets 300 views, I don't care. If it gets 2,000 views, great. I don't care. Also, that's fun. Also, that's a positive thing. We're giving away a trip to the National, but card porn is a scammer, and that's what everybody wants to talk about. don't care.
I've been telling people it's mostly me giving away a trip to the National this time. So hopefully that's okay with you guys. All right, college football for me, it really only boils down to one team, and it's Deion Sanders, Colorado Buffaloes. I really didn't give a flip about college football over the last few years, and then all of a sudden I hear that Deion Sanders is coaching his sons, and now they're just like blasting teams in the first 2 weeks. So I'm all over Colorado. That's my college. That's really, and I like to see Texas beat Alabama because Texas doesn't beat. I mean, I don't know when the last time Alabama just never loses, frankly. So I don't know. I mean,
Bushlinger says this better be sugar-free tea. It's subtly sweet, low sugar. So it's not sugar-free, but it's not full-on sugar. See, we're right there in between. Right? So find the happy medium.
That's awesome. Ian is making trades on Veriswap. Check them out as well. There's links in the video description per usual. 10 trades in 2 weeks. Good Lord. That's awesome. Raymond will like to see that. All right. Tua is good, but Trevor is better. We have so much QB talent in the NFL. It's kind of like, I mean, hell, Deshaun Watson, who wasn't on anybody's radar, had a great week compared to a lot of these guys. So question, Rob, and maybe you have a video on this. You have some Deshaun Watson, I think probably because he's your quarterback and they're super cheap. Did they move at all after the Browns won, or did you pay attention to it at all? Did you take a look?
They went up like ever so slightly. I just have one. I have a 9.5 silver. They went up I think 10% last time I looked. Nothing crazy.
Okay. Did you unload immediately, or are you just going to hang around for
no, I'll wait. I'm into that card for pretty cheap. I got a good deal on it at the National. So
Al Bundy, better QB than Zach Wilson. That's fair.
I mean, they won, but he wasn't the reason why they won. So
he didn't light it up.
Explosion. Yeah.
I think I texted you. It felt like and again, I had Nick Chubb for fantasy, and Nick Chubb actually had a pretty good week, but my God, he should have had a way better week because Watson threw 40 times in that game. And it's like, dude, hand the ball off. Why are we just trying to force it? But anyway, they won. So it didn't really matter because Joe Burrow didn't feel like being out there. Joe Burrow was too busy spending money. He was on the bench on Amazon. More Neo and Steve winners. I see you out there. Look, you can. I'm about to put you in timeout there, Rob. You got 400 chats in here, and that was from 12 minutes ago.
I was going to say, Rob, don't worry, Rob. I saw that chat 12 minutes ago.
Aloha Spurs cards. What's going on, man? What's up, Orlando? People buying Zach Wilson are insane. He will flame out by half the season. Watch Zach Wilson just shock the world. Watch it happen.
Zach Wilson will flame out by Sunday at 5:00.
All right. What about non-sports stuff, Rob? For you, because obviously you look at sports cards, but didn't you say that there was some Lorcana Disney stuff that was going on that maybe we should just touch on quickly?
Just absolutely insane prices. That's all. And just be careful if you're dabbling. Be careful.
Was it because of your video that you put out last week where it was Lorcana Madness or something? I watched that one.
Yeah, I mean, they were already nuts before that, and then it's just they continue to go up every day because there's just no supply.
Okay. Interesting.
No supply, crazy demand.
That's a ticket to success. That's like my Stranger Things cards, just no demand. No supply. But also no demand. Actually,
have you bought anything from the new set?
Oh, I did, and it's upstairs. I bought the blue 11 out of 11. The blue 11 out of 11.
Is that the new Zero Cool product, or?
Yeah. It's actually selling pretty strong, frankly. I mean, they're autos and they're sticker autos too, and those cards are selling pretty strong.
Yeah, I kind of want some of the dual autos, but I kind of don't want to pay $500 for them because they're going for crazy amounts.
Yeah, I mean, and the rare stuff, there was a blue 11 cassette out of 11 that went for $1,000. And I know that sounds like a lot, but if you look at the checklist, that's really it's a big card for that set. So, I mean, $1,000 pretty decent for a Stranger Things card.
Yes. I want the Eddie Dustin dual auto.
Yeah, there's some cool little combos in there.
I want the Eddie Van Halen dual auto.
If they were on card, they would be insane.
I mean, they're selling for on-card prices, it feels like, but it's also they're still new, so it's kind of
the cool ones. I just saw some in listings randomly. I haven't really searched any out, but I saw that there's some that look like cassette tapes.
That's what I was just saying. Yeah, set.
But you know, I don't listen to what you say.
I know. It's just like I literally just said that.
It's like, yeah. Hold on, I had my wife filters on. Okay,
I
because I got a dial in my ear. One of them says wife. One of them says Dustin.
Am I Bruce Willis? Am I Bruce Willis in Sixth Sense and I'm dead and I just don't know it? Nobody can hear me. I'm just talking.
Right. What color is the doorknob back there on the closet?
Wait, what's this blood on my back?
The doorknob, man. What color is it?
Damn, that was M. Night Shyamalan's peak.
Yeah, that was a good movie.
Hell of done.
Yeah, I mean he's come out with some good stuff, but
he has had a couple others that were all right, but he's had definitely more duds than winners.
It's
Can
the only good
back
movie.
to like 10 minutes ago. How have you not watched Ahsoka yet?
Oh, I've seen it. I'm just on the
new episode.
The new episode, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, how? Like, my point stands. How have you not watched that already?
Work, kids.
I just watched it before this live stream in case we needed to talk about it. But
didn't it come out this morning or what?
Oh, it came out last night.
Yeah, last night, like this morning. I was having a birthday party. Had a bang.
They drop on Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern now.
Okay. Good to know. We're also watching Murders in the Building. If you guys haven't seen that, that's a good show. I'm watching that. That's kind of the girly show that I watch with my wife and my daughter. It's good. It's good. It's got what's his name? Steve Martin and Martin Short, and they're hilarious. And it's also got Selena Gomez in it. It's good. Murder mystery type show. Have any of you guys had success crossing CSG or SGC to PSA? I've never cracked a slab. I have a couple that I might try it on, but I've never done it. You guys have, I think you guys have both done it? Or
I have a video specifically cracking CSG cards and sending them to PSA.
Oh, I must have missed that one. All right.
It was from a year ago.
How was it?
I did okay. A couple 9.5s turned the 10s and a couple came back PSA 9s, but overall, like I forget how many. It was like 5 cards, I think, or 4 cards. Like I think the net was a positive. Not everything crossed over, but
did a tear roll down your cheek when you cracked that beautiful CSG slab that you loved
a
so
little
much?
bit, a little bit.
Damn it! This
I wiped it away with all the cash that I made from selling the PSP slab.
Wipe it away with cash. I love it. All right.
I've never had any success. I've attempted to cross BGS and SGC to PSA and never had an upgrade. So
I want to be clear though. I'm talking about cracking, not a straight cross. It's near impossible to actually cross on the slab.
Well, yeah, inside the slab. I'm going to bet. I can't guarantee this, but I'm going to bet that they don't even like evaluate it. They're probably just like, oh hell no, we're not. This is in a slab already. We're not cracking this out and reevaluating it. It takes too much time.
Every once in a while,
write them up their bill and send it back.
One will go through, but usually they don't. I had good. I sold those Ellie De La Cruz CGC Pristine 10s for way more than what PSA 10 sell for.
I'll tell you, when I first got back into grading, I had a BGS True Gem plus 3 or 495 score. Just a True Gem. I also had a True Gem plus with a 10 and 395s. And then I had a SGC 10 and I sent those 3 cards all in to be crossed at the same time. And my idea was, well, I'm sending 3. At least if they cross one of them, it's going to make this worth sending in. I'm like, there's no way they're going to deny all 3 when I'm paying them about $200 per card to do it. And I got them all back with a $600 tab, and none of them were cracked. None of them were crossed. None of them were nothing. They just came back. It didn't even look like they had been removed from the box that I sent them in. It looked like they slapped a sticker on my box and just sent it back to me. So that's where I have experience with sending them in already graded. So I learned that the hard way. But then I've only ever resubmitted like 2. And the only card I've ever had success with crossing to a PSA 10 was an HGA 9.5.
Interesting.
And yeah.
I've always heard their slabs are a bastard to crack.
Yes. That was the hardest slab I ever had to crack too. I thought I tore the card up trying to get it out, but I didn't.
Try to get.
What happens if you throw one in the pool? Have you tested an HGA?
I've never thrown it. No, I haven't. HGA has never gone for a swim.
What about rare edition? You could set a nuclear bomb off next to that thing.
That would break his pool.
Right. I want to try a CGC slab, but I don't have a card that I'm willing to take the risk on throwing in the pool.
You don't want to throw a Spider-Man sketch?
No, I don't want to throw a Spider-Man sketch in the pool.
All right,
The
Roberto.
card does look good in that slab with the black penciling with the black label.
I have a little order set up. I'm sending it to CGC for the first time.
I just sent them card.
Yeah.
They're getting delivered Friday. I have an order going.
I'm sending them one of my.
Let's move on. Just send it to SGC. Stop wasting your time and just send it all to SGC. All right. If a grading company offered a cleaning service, would you utilize the service? So in comic books, you can do this. You can, and they don't like, I don't think CGC cleans it for you, but it's pretty wide open to where you can just get stuff cleaned. I think my answer to this would be yes, if it was something that was accepted in our hobby and in sports cards, but it's just not, and
I would argue it's already accepted.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, that sounds like a differing take. So
what didn't you just do a video?
It's already accepted?
One, I literally just did this video 2 days ago.
You just did this video. I saw it.
Two, like if you run a poll, like 80% of people are pro card cleaning.
What do you mean the poll that you put on YouTube where there's like 187 votes and that
like
all the card
500 to 700 votes on those?
I'm just curious, what do you mean by cleaning? Do you mean by taking a
card care
cloth and ripping, taking off a fingerprint? Because
like Kurt's card care.
So that would be like just like and okay, so I got the Mr. Minty kit. I'm going to guess that's a similar thing. But there's different levels of stuff in that kit that.
But you're buffing out surface stuff. You're not trimming. You're doing like you're not trimming the card, but you're like you're buffing out.
I'm just saying there's certain things in that kit that I would use and certain things in that kit that I wouldn't use.
Assume everything in that kit's on the table. I mean, group submitters do this already for a lot of people. A lot of people use group submitters and pay $2 per card to have it cleaned, so it's already accepted.
So they just outsource it so they can feel better about it.
Yeah, essentially. And here's the thing: I mean, the grading companies don't reject cards for being cleaned, so clearly it's accepted.
Right.
I mean, I know that grading companies used to say that if we can detect any kind of cleaning or solvents or anything on a card, the card would be disqualified from grading.
But do they look for it?
So I don't know. I can't speak for the card companies on their end. I just know that I've read that in their disclosure before that if they feel like they detect some kind of solvent or something on the surface, and I don't know what their definition of that would be. Is that water? Is that Windex? Because people use Windex on chrome cards and things like that. I've used water to get fingerprints off before that were just, I didn't want to have to press the card so hard. But I mean, I guess people already do it, but would I pay them to do it? I probably wouldn't. If it was to be accepted, then why would I pay somebody to do something I could do myself? Unless they're really getting extreme on it.
I think it would come down to like,
what if it's like getting work done at the dealership versus you changing the oil yourself or whatever, and it's got a warranty on it.
Yeah,
what a PSA says, we'll clean it up for you for an extra $20, and that's the difference between a 6 and an 8 or whatever. And that's something that's accepted by the hobby. I mean, I think a lot of people would probably do it.
I just want to, but I got to trust them to do it. That's the same thing as if you take your car to the mechanic, you got to trust them to do it right. So anything, if I can do something myself, then at least I know it's been done. Because I just talked about PSA and crossing cards. So it's kind of like, I had to trust them that they actually looked at those cards and decided that they weren't crossable, or did they not look at them and decide that it was too much work to crack them and cross them?
You had to trust that they looked at the cards at all and didn't just like up to encapsulation.
Right.
Yeah.
That's my thing now with the grading companies not grading autographs if they don't grade a 10. Because BGS doesn't do that now. I just found that out at the National, and SGC has never done it. So they only grade the autograph if the autograph is going to grade a 10.
Right.
Which means if it's an 8 or a 9 by their standards, by the grader's thought, they don't have to worry about labeling it or anything. It's easy. But you flip that around a little bit. Now maybe it gets into the point, or it could get into where, they don't feel like grading the autograph. They're just not going to throw a grade on it. And you're just going to assume that, okay, well, it wasn't a 10 in their eyes. I mean, you really got to trust a lot of things. And BGS does that now. And it made me a little bit nervous, but I got all 5 of my cards back and all 5 of the autographs graded a 10. So I know that they took the time to grade the card and put the 10 on there. So that was great. That was good. But still, it just leaves another little bit of haziness or gray area in there now where if you get a lazy grader, and I hope that they're not hiring lazy graders, but every place in this world hires people, and some of them, some people just have lazy employees by no fault of their own. And they just like, oh, I don't feel like looking at this autograph. They slab it up. It is what it is. And you just take it for their word that it wasn't a 10. Where if they put a numerical grade on it, they got to do the work regardless. So at least you know what you're getting out of it. And you know that it was looked at. So if they're going to take the time to label it and slab it with a grade, then you're going to think that they looked at it anyway, more so than if it doesn't have anything on it at all. So
that's fair. Neo is a permanent co-host, CV Sports Cards. So yeah, he's part of the trio, the Three Amigos. That's right.
Somebody only wanted to hear Neo a minute ago. Roberto Brooks at 937 only wants to hear Neo talk about the grading situation.
Oh, well, that's not
right. Nice. I think, well, you can go back and watch Neo's video. Did Neo put out a video on it?
I didn't. Yeah, I watched probably 90% of your stuff, Rob, but I think I skipped over the cleaning one. I don't know. That one was just kind of like bleh.
I don't think it's anything against us. He just likes Neo's take on it. He think Neo had a good conclusion. That's why he wanted to hear Neo speak on it.
I mean, obviously. Dustin, how do you feel about grading companies that don't authenticate autos?
Agree with Steve, avoiding bad hobby news content, Orlando. I agree with you. Orlando, avoiding bad hobby news content. I guess, well, are you talking about presented badly or just negative hobby news content? I guess there's a distinction there. Drink water.
Like negative
content. Coming with a hot take.
Yeah, and like and to that, because this came off the tails of our card porn discussion earlier, really quickly. When I talked about that, I'm not saying that content is bad. I'm just saying that's not the type of content that I do. I would never tell people to not go watch that content. If you want to get your updates, there are people that actually specialize in that kind of content, and you can get your updates, your card porn updates and things like that from them. It's just something that I don't do.
JMS, I don't know what you mean here. Okay, fraud business filled with fraud people. The shame is the influencers don't want to cover the fraud. I guess it depends on who are you talking about with influencers? Because I feel like, all the way across the board, I've seen a lot of people cover this all over the place. So I don't know who's not covering it. I don't. Now, is it being covered at the extent that you want? Well, it's kind of like what it said earlier. It's like it's not as if there's a lot of new information every single day on it. If there's some new breaking thing that comes out, then it'll be back in, but it's like, how many times can you say the same thing over and over again? I don't have any new news. So I'm happy to make a follow up to it, but I just don't have anything to add.
If I pull up a YouTube feed and I see 20 videos about card porn, I'm probably going to select 2 or 3 of those to watch, which means the other 17 or so aren't being watched by me. They're being watched by others, but I can only ingest so much of one thing. And maybe hopefully I'm watching the right ones and not the wrong ones, the most informative ones and the most accurate ones. But who's to be the judge of that?
I think too, and for Rob and I make typically 1 video a day. So it's kind of funny because it's actually the opposite. Some people say like, man, how do you make a video every day? There's actually a lot of days where there's multiple options on what that video could be. Probably the same for Rob too. And, it's like, you have to make choices. Like, I'm not going to make 20 videos in a week just to cover something again and again and again. Or, you have to make choices on what that's going to be. So I don't know, Rob, what do you think about that?
Yeah, there's for sure. Like, I try to limit myself to 1 a day. And then obviously if something like absolutely massive happens, I'll drop the second one, if there's something huge. I have a little bit more luxury because I have the Sunday recap video. So anything that I miss, I could throw into that and cover it. I kind of use the weekly sports card market update as my catch-all. So if there's like 3 or 4 micro stories that probably either don't deserve a full video or, maybe they did and just the timing was wrong, or, guess what, people, we actually do have lives outside of this. And sometimes it really comes down to, hey, I would like to make a video about that, but I don't have time to record tonight and I already have something else recorded for tomorrow. And then you kind of like sometimes it almost feels like you missed the window. So like if I don't talk about whatever happened on Monday, on Tuesday or Wednesday, and I don't have time to get to it until Thursday, it's like, I don't know, do I still need to like make this video that everyone else has talked about? And I know people like want our take on it. So in a case like that, usually I just roll it into the Sunday video then. I'll just make a note and say, okay, I'll just talk about this Sunday for 3 minutes on whatever it is that I missed out on. Because like I said, sometimes just life gets in the way. And it's not so much that I don't want to talk about it. Like I got messages, people in comments were like, oh, I see you're not talking about the card porn thing. And I forget what happened at this. There was 2 things that happened at the same time as that. And I don't remember what they were. I'd have to go back and look at my video history, but it was like I had other videos that I wanted to put out at certain times at the same time that was going on. And I replied back. I'm like, I'm planning on talking about it in Sunday's video. Like, I'm not. They're like, oh, you're dodging it. And I'm like, I just haven't gotten to it yet, guys. Calm down. It's
the
not
other thing too
job.
is I like having a decent mix of stuff. So whether it be like, there's drama stuff, then there's like hobby news thing, then there might be collector style thing, pickups. So it's like, and I know some people can do like AI Sports. He's doing his thing covering card porn. Because he's been covering it for a while. He might be happy making that video every single day for the next 400 days. And if he does, then that's great. And he should do that. That's the other part of content creation is like, you actually have to enjoy what you're putting out or you're not interested in doing it. It's just like what Steve said. I'm not going to put out a news video because that's not what he does. He puts out like his pickups, his strategies, and that sort of thing. If you said, Steve, make card porn videos for the next 7 days, he probably wouldn't make content ever again because that's not what he wants to do. So it also just boils down to what you want to do. So it's tough. All right. If you had to pick a post 2020 sports card to invest and hold for 10 plus years, this is actually a struggle. Actually, you know what? I think I have something. Interested in each of your plays. Let's start with you, Rob. Post 2020 sports card, buy and hold. This is actually really hard.
Post 2020.
While he's thinking, the Anthony Richardson question that you pulled up and didn't get to.
Yeah, go ahead with that.
Anthony Richardson, fantasy wise, I wouldn't be afraid to roll him out there and start him. He's just like a volatile quarterback like Justin Fields was last year. He's going to have a high ceiling, and some weeks he's going to have a very bad floor. From a investment standpoint, I probably wouldn't mess with him because even if he's a good player, he's in the AFC and he's on the Colts. And we don't know what's happening with Jonathan Taylor. We don't know what's happening with that team, period. He didn't look bad for his first game. Some of his throws were a little rough. His touchdown pass to Michael Pittman was a screen pass that Pittman took 39 yards. So Pittman basically did the work on that. But, he looked exciting. He ran well. Just have to see how his passing comes around. And I don't know what cards he's going to have in the market, in the football market right now, because we don't know what we're going to get from NFL products. And we don't know what prices he's going to hit at. So it's going to be around price point if you're talking about buying him. If you're just talking about overall thoughts or if you're talking about fantasy thoughts, then I just try to give you a little accent or a little opinion on each. So fantasy-wise, I actually picked him up off waivers because somebody dropped him. And he'll sit on my bench, but I have no problem starting him in a bye week or if my quarterback gets injured. With that being said, a good fantasy quarterback doesn't necessarily translate to a good NFL quarterback. You would agree with that too, right, Neo? You can be a great fantasy quarterback and puts up tons of fantasy points, but be a terrible quarterback on the field in the NFL and lose games and have turnovers and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, like, look at Justin Fields. Like, he's a fantastic fantasy quarterback, but he's kind of meh in real life. Did Dust just leave?
He hasn't anything intelligent to add to this.
I don't know that I have a 2020 sports card that I would want to hold for 10 plus years. I guess if you force me to pick something, I guess it would probably have to be baseball. And I guess I'll say J-Rod, but I don't feel great about that. Like, he's actually low-key having a pretty good season this year, and people kind of forgot about him.
Post 2020.
I don't trust anyone in the NFL enough to hold for 10 years.
Yeah, we're probably going to have to talk about an individual person also and not just like a card because this says a sports card. I mean,
that's way too in the weeds.
Yeah, that's way too specified.
In basketball, I don't know if there's anyone from the recent classes that bounced to that level. that you'd want to hold for 10 plus years. Like there's some good guys, but I don't know if there's like the next face of the league has been in the last couple of years. Maybe Anthony Edwards, but that feels like a stretch.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of is like gold prism, like Tom Brady gold prism. I just hate it because it's Bucks from 2020.
Well, I assume he means like a rookie, like not.
He just said sports card. He didn't say rookie card.
I guess.
Here comes Dustin with his 10-year gold prisms.
It's got to be rare. It has to be rare because none of this stuff is rare.
Yeah, and that's why I said we can't really specify it to a certain card, or you could just say, really. I want a National Treasures RPA of this guy. You know what I mean? But realistically speaking, when I go out and put that kind of money out on a National Treasures RPA, I wouldn't. Not of anybody. I can't name a player right now that I would want to come out of my funds to buy their National Treasures RPA at a price in today's market. But hypothetically speaking, if I could have a nice rare card of any rookie, I'm definitely going the NFL route just because I think that football is getting more and more popular. There didn't seem to be a downtime much this season. Like basketball seems non-existent with the season not being around. But even when the football season wasn't around, football was still talked about and hyped. Nobody's talked about basketball since the season's been down. And baseball's just too long. So it's like football's so exciting. I think football cards is like the way to go for right now, at least for the next 10 years. And if I had to get a player, somebody mentioned Trevor Lawrence earlier, but again, I'm not going to take money out and go buy Trevor Lawrence right now because he's really he's really expensive. So, but who do I like over the next 10 years? I like a lot of the quarterbacks in the AFC. I just don't like them at the cost it's going to take me to get them.
Jordan talking smack.
Yeah, like I would rather dump, and this wasn't his question, but I would rather spend $1,000 on Pokemon wax than $1,000 on any sports card single post 2020.
I was going to say, post 2020 would be non-sports stuff for me if I had to hold on to it. I agree.
Yeah, if you forced me to pick like anything post 2020, it would probably be TCG wax.
Yeah, Anthony, Michael basically answered the question with my answer. DC Sports 87. That's who I move. I'll obviously a channel sponsor, but I also sell a lot of stuff through DC Sports 87. Yeah. The thing is you're sending it off to be auctioned off. So, you're running at 99-cent auction. So if the advantage of selling it yourself is you have control. You can put buy it nows and you can, you can
time it. You're not forced to when they're going to throw it up. The only thing I don't like
pouring it out there,
Yeah, the only thing I don't like is a lot of times it'll get listed with like 15 other versions of the same card that you're selling, and they all end at the same time, and it's kind of like, crap.
Yeah, I will say because of the volume that they're doing, there are a lot of people watching those lists. Actually, I just bought
you get way more eyeballs.
Yeah, you get because of the fact too that they're just selling so many that people are like, oh man, I'm gonna find some good deals, when they end. I bought a Tom Brady card from DC Sports 87. They got lost in that mix. It was there was a bunch of them ending at the same time. And I mean, they sold for great prices, and I kind of snuck in. And there was one kind of in between where I got a good deal on it. But yeah, there's just strategy around. There's different ways to do it.
Yeah, I would lean more towards probably like lower end stuff, or maybe something super rare that's going to stand out. And then anything middle, I would almost just sell myself.
The next Wednesday night live should be the three of you driving in cars separately and on your way to work while chatting.
I don't work on Wednesdays, but you can tune in every now and then to my channel and get a video of me driving to work.
Yeah, maybe have my kids screaming in the background or just trying to talk over me in the background. That'd actually probably be fairly entertaining. And they'll come back as Card Hub. Talking about the card-born folks. Got some success with the HGA cracks.
I've heard I haven't had any in hand yet. I have an order there now, but I've heard the new PSA slabs are a real bastard to crack.
I have not heard this, Aaron. Great success crossing BGS 9.5s and a PSA 10, 75% success rate. That's really good. I
think people say crossing, and a lot of times that they're actually cracking and crossing and just cracking part.
Yeah.
Maybe he's not. If that's not the case, that's absolutely wild, unless it's like a sample size of 1.
Wet wipes, I think cracking crossing slabs is bad class. Just get the card you want. Creates scamming in the hobby, unreliable pop reports. I talked about pop reports today just because you've seen such a massive growth in supply, obviously, just what with all the cards being graded. And it's interesting to see there's certain cards where I like a year ago, I was looking at it, looking at pricing, and then you look back at it and you're like, why is it like so much less? And then you look at the pop on it and then you look back at where it was and it's dramatically higher, for certain cards. So then it's kind of like, if it's not numbered, it's not rare. If it's not, higher grade vintage or whatever, then it's like, do I need this right now? Or could I wait and see what it looks like, depending on what the card is, obviously.
Okay. I'm going to throw a hypothetical in this, though, because he says cracking and stuff is bad class because it messes with pop reports, which I can agree with that aspect of it. It messes with pop reports. But how about just getting a bad grade? How about I send a card in to PSA? I think it's no worse than a 9. It comes back a 7. Then I want to crack and resubmit and get a second opinion on it, and it comes back a 10. Okay, so what was bad class? The shitty grade or me thinking that I got robbed out of the grade that I should have gotten and I resubmitted it? Right? And I'm stuck with the grade that I get on a card if I don't agree with it. I don't see. So from that viewpoint, I'm going to disagree with it being bad class. Yes, it messes with pop reports and things like that, but how badly does it mess with pop reports?
You can always send. Most grading companies will allow you to send the old slip in or the old flip.
What's the difference between something having 10,000 in the pop report and having 10,500 or 11,000 in the pop report? There is no difference. Yeah. And if something's serial numbered, you know what the print run on the card is, no matter how many times it's been graded.
That's the case. Yeah, the case for sure.
The number of cards numbered out of like 10, 15, or 20 that have like pop 40, if you combined all the pop reports together.
Yeah,
probably.
And I had seen something I had seen something before. So where the Prism white sparkle cards they think are serial numbered out of 5, but they're not necessarily actually serial numbered. And there was in the PSA pop report, there was more than 5 of a certain card graded. So it drew questions.
I thought there's more. I thought there's like 20 of them.
White sparkle. I think I'm talking from 2018, at least, the card that I was specifically looking at. So it's like, is there actually more than 5 of those made? Because nobody really knows how many is made, and nobody knows how much anything is made unless it has a stamp on it. And even then, you have to trust the stamp. And then, so the rumor was there was like 5 of each white sparkle from 2018 Prism football, but the pop report on a certain card was higher than 5. Now, does that mean that there's actually more than that card printed, or was there some crack and resubmits now to where the pop report is higher? And is that information that PSA would be allowed to have? Because that would be useful information for a grading company to have from a manufacturer, because then they would know, hey, we already have 5 of this card in the system, and we're being told by Panini that they only made 5.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a crack and resubmit going on here. I mean, there's way more bad class things that go on with grading, such as, hindering a card, or, things like trimming and such like that a crack and resubmit because I don't agree with a grade. That's up to me. That's my call. I have every right to do that, considering I'm paying for the service.
Fair enough, Steve. Fair enough. Neo, how about your Cavs? You listen to Sam Bacchini? He says Cavs have a shot at the number 1 seed.
I haven't listened. I do listen to him on occasion. I haven't recently. I don't know about a 1 seed. I think they'll be a top 4 seed again for sure. Or I'm pretty confident about them being a top 4 seed. I don't know about a 1 seed. Maybe. If everything broke right for them. They are built very well for the regular season.
Pelicans all the way. Zion wins MVP and Defensive Player of the Year. It's a year of Zion coming up, according to Odd Merchants Vintage cards, who might have some Zion cards.
There's still no question about Zion's talent. I mean, can he stay on the court? We had this discussion about Tua earlier. Like, Tua has looked great when he's played, but can he stay on the field? Zion has looked great on the court, but can he stay on the court? Man, that's the question.
I didn't know the CGC offers a service to clean and press comics. I didn't know they did it there. I know
CGC offers, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go. There you have it.
Welcome to like 10 years ago.
All right. Well, I don't grade comics. I just buy them graded. So maybe that'll be a thing in cards one day. You never know, I guess.
Maybe.
My take on it is that one of the big four grading companies could offer it as a way to stand out from the non-big four. Like one of the pop-up grading companies could do it to like, all right, let me do something that no one else is doing to try to grab some attention.
Interesting. Or grading company trying to vault ahead of the others. Oh, here we go. I finally got to Roberto's comment. That was okay. Here we go. I'm 22 minutes behind. Good
God
Lord.
dang, man.
I'm too busy listening to you guys talk, and it's just captivating.
Lovely, isn't it?
It's captivating. All right. You have to play 65 games to qualify for awards. Yeah, Zion hasn't played 65 games total, I don't think.
Steve, Dan the Cardman has a question for you in
yes,
chat.
I see that.
And
where is he?
I see that, and I will message Dan on Instagram because I do need to reach out to Jay the Messiah.
By the time Dustin gets to that, we'll be on the 2025 National.
Yeah. Yep.
What happens?
Are you guys going to come early next year to go to like the Pro Football Hall of Fame or anything?
That's my plan. I'd like to do that.
Yeah, I want to go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame too. Maybe we can have my induction right around the same time as the National.
Are you going to dress up for that, like the video you did?
I don't need to dress up to be a rock star, man. Well, yeah, maybe.
Speaking
you think
of,
they'll let me in there?
I just went to Disturbed, and the guy looked like you. He looked a lot like you.
Yeah, he's bald. All bald guys look alike, I hear.
That guy rocks. The Disturbed still got it. Still got it.
Yeah. I used to listen to Disturbed a lot. Taylor Heavington at 9:58, but also back, which is probably about to pop up on your screen. Had another comment.
Chat, would you rather see more videos about chasing cardboard reaction videos or card porn videos? Put that. What would you rather? And then in about half an hour, we'll get to the results of that poll, that live poll I just did. Or Jeff Wilson. Jeff Wilson chasing cardboard, card porn.
And you know what's funny is people talk about different, bad publicity is better than no publicity. I never watched an episode of Chasing Cardboard.
Yeah,
and then they had the whole thing where everybody was talking about the rock autos, and now actually I have watched like one or two episodes. I don't watch it regularly, but like I said, I've actually watched more videos of theirs after the publicity videos.
It's all part of the plan. It's a community. We're all helping each other. It's just spreading the love around. We're reacting, and it brings attention elsewhere. I did not see this yet, Chris. The Jeff Wilson interview on Rolling with FD, and I watch FD stuff. I just haven't seen that one yet. Multiple ticks on the cardboard situation has caused fast burnout. Yeah, I think that's kind of what it is too. Because also on IG, the other thing too is card porn was an IG account. It's not as if it was a YouTube channel, that had 100,000 subscribers. And I think that's part of it as well. I'm not really certain that the YouTube community crosses over. I feel like there's a lot of IG viewers that are not necessarily watching YouTube stuff. Same with like TikTok or there's a lot of like TikTok people. If I saw them, I like have no idea who they are, and vice versa. Like it's exactly the same. I don't know if those, Twitter's the same. There's like card Twitter. I don't know all the people on card Twitter that have big card accounts. I just don't. So I don't know if that viewership translates over. So once they see it on IG, are they going on YouTube to like find the reaction there? I don't know. I don't know if they are. You just can't win.
If you go all the way to 10:02, and then you can throw it in reverse and hit the comments, I can answer Robert's question.
The funny thing about the coverage of the story, Zach, is when like Rob and I started out, nobody was doing it, or I shouldn't say nobody. Very, very few people were doing the news, the hobby news thing. Just wasn't. Now everyone's got a take, which I think is great. I'm not complaining, but
yeah, we're still talking about it though. That's what I'm saying. The whole this whole thing about card porn is like consumed the live stream.
All right, 10:02 and go backwards. Who was it?
Robert. What is your take on Kenny Pickett, Silver Prism?
10:02. That's crazy. What are we doing?
I know, and we will go backwards. we got to hand pick some of these comments. There's one
Kenny Pickett.
So he's talking about pop reports on the Kenny Pickett. What's your take on Kenny Pickett Silver Prism? I don't know the price on it, but I'm going to guess right now, with there not being many in population in any grade, that it's overpriced. If you're looking to buy one, wait till there's more. It's just like when a new product drops. All right. Like, remember LaMelo Ball hoops? Okay. We don't want to relive that story again. So just wait. Prism Silver out there. And there's one SGC 10 right now. There will be plenty more of that card because it's not rare. You're probably better to just buy one raw and get it graded yourself if you wanted a graded copy.
I'm guessing there's a print issue with that card, though, because I think Purdy and some of the other guys from the 2022 class, their pop report is like in the hundreds in PSA 10. So yeah, it could be like a Trevor Lawrence, Lamar Jackson, and Patrick Mahomes issue.
But there's still plenty of them. There'll still be plenty of them. And I mean, look at the price of it. I mean, I don't know what the price of it is.
There's actually not a lot of the Trevor Lawrence PSA 10s, considering like it's a lot, but it's not a lot. I think the PSA 10 pop on his card is like 300 or something crazy, which is like 70% lower than everybody else.
Who's that? Pickett?
Trevor Lawrence.
Oh, Lawrence.
Like, if it's similar to how that plays out. Same with Lamar Jackson's base prism from 2018 has a very skewed pop report, and the Mahomes 2017 silver has a skewed pop report because there was a dimple. There's a print issue on that card too.
Yeah, I talked about that one today.
Well, we know the Mahomes has the print issue, but Mahomes also, the base is the silver. It's the same card. So
yeah, but it's more about like if you look at the PSA 10 pop versus the PSA 9 pop of his card compared to like Deshaun Watson, it's drastically skewed towards the 9s.
Right. It's going to cause a large discrepancy between 9s and 10 grades, yes. But on the secondary market, is that card still a 4K card? You know, I mean, I'm sure that it's close to that, but who wants to pay that for it?
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. But who really?
It's still like $3,500 card.
Right. That's what I mean. But is it moving liquid? It probably is because it's Patrick Mahomes. But where do you see that card value wise? The pop report can only go up. So that means demand has to go up with it.
Not when people start cracking their PSA 10s to send the tag. Then the pop report's going down. That. You got nothing. I stumped you on that.
They're not going to do that. What are you talking about? In fact, people are probably cracking their 9s trying to get 10s. When it becomes such a big discrepancy, it makes it worth it.
I tried to pass this off, but it's part of the charm now of the show.
So, it has to be streamed from our channel directly in order for us to handle the comments.
they want
me. Fair, Dustin has tried, and we have flatly refused.
Yeah, I was like, hey, if you guys want to run it, that'd be great. And they're like, nah, let's just keep it how it is. It allows them to talk more, and then I can just kind of scroll through and find the nuggets.
So Simon 466 cards. Simon 466 cards at 10:04 on the Kenny Pickett said he did a video today. You guys can go check that out. It says PSA is a pop of 140. So I'm guessing that's how many are graded total pop and no PSA 10s. So they're 0 for 140 on that card. So there has to be something up with it. Now, with that being said, you did say that the other copy was an SGC 10. So we're talking PSA pop reports. What about SGC pop reports? That it may be the only one, but are people going to respect it like a PSA 10? Not respect it. I mean, people respect SGC grades. That's what they tell you. But then it hits a secondary market. It's a whole nother thought.
Travis, no, I was not saying that. I'm not saying that they're lying about their pop report numbers. No, it's just that when cards are cracked and then resub, that the numbers are going to be off or skewed because of that. Because
right.
And people have said like, oh, well, you can send a note to PSA and let them know that you. And I'm like, how many people are doing that? How many people are cracking and then sending? Hey guys, just want to let you know that this cert, I cracked it. Mm-hmm. I resub. 0.1%. I mean,
so basically, if a card is cracked and submitted 5 different times, it's going to count in the pop report 5 times, but it's one card.
So I just wanted to filter back to the Trevor Lawrence thing real quick because he is comparable. So Justin Fields' Silver Prism is pop 370. Mac Jones is pop 500. Trevor Lawrence is pop 73 on his PSA 10 silver.
Mm-hmm. But how many have been submitted again? I'm just curious.
I didn't look at the total submission. I was just going.
Because I was just curious because I'm wondering about the turnaround time on products from that from that
Well, this is
time, from that
2021.
release.
This
So
is 2 years ago.
2021. Right.
This is what I heard too, Simon, that there was about 20 white sparkles. That was the population of them.
And is that for all cards and all brands? Because they run white sparkle out of Prism, they run white sparkle out of Optic.
I think that's Prism. So
And
I
the
don't
years.
know about Optic, and I don't know about Optic.
Or
That
did
was,
they have,
yeah, and it could be different. I learned
Yeah.
something this week. Red prisms from 2016 are a lot more rare than the 2015 red prisms in the Prism product for football. I don't know if that translates over to basketball too, but it varies by year. I don't know. I just thought that was kind of interesting. I was bidding on a straight up blue Prism 2017 Tom Brady last night, and I was like, man, if this sells for under $500, PSA 10, I want to snag it. It sold for $1,700, and it's a retail. It's just an SSP. It's not numbered. It's the true blue. It's like the navy blue version from 2017. It's a beautiful card, but I did not think it was going to go for $1,700.
How can it be the navy blue and be the true blue at the same time?
I don't know what to tell you, Steve.
Never mind.
Beautiful card.
You can't.
Beautiful card. Let's just talk over Steve.
You know why? Because it's a color.
You've been doing that all live stream anyway. God, I'm used to it. And yesterday was my birthday.
Yeah, but a color match at 17. I mean, like, that's a hell of a premium for the color match. It's not a rookie. I mean, it's not even close. But
team color match, baby.
I'm all out of team, man.
I've got the light blue Prism. I've got the there's other shades of blue that are numbered.
Not a color match.
It's not that different. It's not that shade of blue. The basketball market is fatigued. Do you guys see a comeback for basketball cards? Because I swear, I think just going back to the pandemic, basketball was so damn hot. And now when you look at it, it's just not,
because it was being played. And it was one of the only things to kind of watch. I mean, they canceled it, but then they started it back up in the bubble. And it was like, it was just the sport that was going on at the time.
Yeah, but there's still great basketball. I mean, like, there's still exciting basketball that's coming up, right? I mean, it should be like an exciting season. So why would you?
But we're talking about prices. We're not talking about players and their talent levels.
Yeah, but that's right.
Giannis and Luka are still great players. You know what I mean?
There's actually probably better basketball now than there was if we're going back to that time period. I mean, like, as far as just talent on the court, there's additional talent out there on the court that have cards and all the rest of it. But why is basketball just not talked about? There's just not a lot on it.
Because football. I think because of football. It's not necessarily so much that there is basketball fatigue, yes, but I think that people get more excited for the NFL nowadays.
But even going back, going back to February, March during basketball season, during the height of getting ready for playoffs and stuff. I remember watching videos and even making a couple of videos, are basketball going to get a bump kind of heading in, leading up to the playoffs and that sort of thing. And it's nobody cared, I mean, outside of some stuff. I mean, obviously some stuff.
I mean, let's think about it along the lines of other things other than cards and just along the NFL. Working in a casino, I can tell you that a majority of our sports gambling comes from football games, especially when the season comes around. That's when you can play them. But we really pick up the big influx of football bettors. The season's shorter. It makes it more exciting. What are you doing on Sunday? If you don't have plans, more than likely you can tell someone right now. You can tell anybody right now where you'll be on Sunday. I'll be on my sofa watching my favorite football team. But you won't be telling them about your favorite basketball team until the playoffs start, more than likely. Now, I'm not speaking for everybody, but I'm speaking for, how often do you make it a point to tune into your favorite baseball game or basketball game? If you've got nothing else to do, you might turn the game on. But how often do you make it a point to be like, hey, I need to be here because tip-off is at this time? You know what I mean?
You think it's a combination of longer season
causes fatigue also.
Well, and then also the load management problem that the NBA has.
And then
I think it's a lot of the load management problem.
If you ask a majority of people, would you rather attend an NBA Finals game, even if it was Game 7, a World Series Game 7, or would you rather go to the Super Bowl?
Or even a playoff game, for that matter.
Right. I'm just saying, I just feel like the hype and the excitement and just the machine that is the NFL right now just generates more excitement. And like I said, we talked about football cards all year. Even if we take it down to fantasy sports, which we all like to play, we were able to put together a fantasy football league.
I don't know. After watching Joe Burrow play football and play football in my fantasy team, I might start getting into basketball after watching.
But I'm saying if you researched into it, I bet you there's more fantasy football leagues than there is any other sport. More people probably play fantasy football than they do fantasy baseball or fantasy basketball. I've played all three in the past, and the only one that I still play is football. And I played baseball for like for the last 2 years. I gave it up, but I played it for like 5 years straight before that. But I wouldn't give up fantasy football. In fact, I got 4 teams this year. I won't even run one baseball team though.
I would take a NBA Finals game over any NFL playoff game other than maybe the Super Bowl.
You would take an NBA Finals game over the Super Bowl?
I don't know that I would take it over the Super Bowl. I would take it over any other NFL playoff game by a mile. Like, I would take an NBA Finals game over like the AFC Championship.
What if Cleveland was in the AFC Championship?
Or is Cleveland in the NBA Finals?
Never.
Well, we just won an NBA title like 7 years ago, but okay.
7 years, that's a long time ago, man. No, I'm just saying you would rather go to a Cleveland Cavaliers NBA Finals game right now than a Cleveland Browns AFC Championship game. Well, I mean, if you're talking about finals, then you're talking about the championship. You're talking about the championship game in comparison to just a playoff game or a conference championship. But I'm talking about the game.
I feel like,
and that's why I said Game 7 for the finals, because I want it to be the game. Because if it was a game one, okay, a game one is.
I have a pretty close direct comparison to this because I was at NBA Finals Game 6 when the Cavs beat the Warriors to force Game 7. So I know what that building felt like, and I have never been in a sporting event that made me feel like that before in my life. You could literally feel the electricity in the building. Like, there was a completely different vibe. I've been to tons of sporting events in my life, but I've never felt an arena feel like Game 6 of the NBA Finals.
Right. And I get that because you've personally experienced it, so you know what it feels like. But you couldn't imagine a Super Bowl with your favorite team in it and kicking off and the hype leading into that, and just.
I don't know that it would feel that there's something about an indoor arena that vibes different than outdoor, like in terms of like energy in the building. That, and like a Super Bowl's neutral site, you have to remember that too. So the energy's different.
Yeah.
Like Game 6, you're at home with 95% home fans versus a Super Bowl that is maybe 30% for each team and then a bunch of corporate people. Like, it's not. Right. I mean, I've never attended a Super Bowl, but I think it's not the vibe that there's a different energy level at something like that compared to being on your home field, home court.
Well, I think a lot of the Super Bowl experience is like the pregame parties.
The entire experience, yeah.
It's like you're going for the week and you're going to all the.
And here's the other
look
thing.
At the halftime shows and things like that.
Football's not a great sport to watch in person. Football's way better on TV.
Nah.
I don't know.
I kind of like it. I don't know. You're watching games at the Browns Stadium, then maybe I'm in the Superdome and 76 degrees. It's pretty nice, actually.
Here's the thing about football, though. You want to sit further away from the field to actually be able to, like, the best seat is not like courtside. Like, you really can't. If you're sitting in really good, expensive seats at an NFL game, you actually can't see what's going on.
That's what makes it great, though. You're going to sit like up top level, like 30-yard line, and it's perfect.
Okay, that's fair. Neo said he would rather go to an NBA Finals game. That's fine. I'm not here to say you're crazy for saying that. I don't believe you. I mean, if that's your feel, then that's your feel. I just feel personally, for me, even if it was my favorite team, if it was a Boston Celtics Game 7 or a Baltimore Orioles World Series Game 7, it doesn't even have to be my favorite team, and I would rather be in the Super Bowl. It could be two teams that I don't like. It could be New England and the Saints, which it'll never be that because the Saints probably won't be back in my lifetime.
It won't be New England, but it'll definitely be New Orleans.
But I mean, I just would rather see that entire experience. And it may not live up to your experience that you had, Neo, but as it being something that I've never experienced, from what I see, the spectacle of it from my television, I would like to see it in person.
Yeah, but are you talking about the spectacle around the game or the actual game itself?
I think all of it. I mean, the game itself, I think, is going to have the same energy. I mean, because when you go to it's not just football that tailgates and has parties and things like that. I mean, shit, I tailgated at a women's professional soccer game with Dustin. So, I mean,
hell of a game too.
Chat's agreeing with me on this one big time, by the way.
They can agree. They're right
about
to
20
it.
minutes. I haven't gotten that far yet. I don't know what you mean, Travis, about the monthly submission numbers. If we're talking about gem rates data, then they're using the pop reports to generate that data. If you're talking about PSA giving out like monthly submission numbers, I'm not following that, but no, I'm not saying that it's wrong or that they're lying about their monthly submission numbers. I don't know why they would do that, but GemRate uses pop reports to generate the, PSA graded 1 million cards last month. They're basing that off of pop reports. That's how they're coming up with it.
That's not an actual pop report. That's just how many cards were graded. If one card was graded 5 times, it's still 5 grades. So it's still that card was graded. It still counts as being that many cards that PSA pumped out.
Rob, do you want to throw in? You don't really buy individuals, though, right?
I couldn't answer this question if you paid me. I have no idea what makes an individual Pokemon card go up. I buy wax. If AP is still in chat, he could probably answer it, or Professor Oak would probably have a better take on this. But I just buy sealed wax.
Bob's big boy saying PSA 10, and there's everything else when it comes to grading. 2017-18 Red Blue Prism for retail is estimated between 15 and 20. Yeah, there's a few years like that, Taylor. I'm kind of learning a little bit more about the retail side because I just basically skipped over them up until recently, but I'm looking a little bit more at those.
Really quick on a Bob's big boy comment. I would throw in there market value. Okay. There's PSA and there's everything else market value, but not necessarily the grade or the respect or the company that I would trust to send my cards to.
And also just modern, ultra modern. If you get into vintage, then, it's,
right.
There's all sorts of nuance in that discussion.
The only reason I use PSA period is if it's a card that I feel like I'm trying to sell on the other side and it just makes sense because that's where my biggest payoff is going to be. But if I'm sending PC cards or cards that don't even have a lot of graded cards to begin with, like the stuff I'm about to submit, I'm going to go elsewhere.
Brandon, I don't know if this card is ever going to surface. The gold 2018 Topps, the 1 of 1, if it ever surfaces, what's your cap on buying it? It's such a great question. I've actually thought about that. I really have no idea, but people ask for crazy money for Stranger Things autos now. There's a gold. I know the guy too, good guy. I bought some stuff off of him, but he has the gold Hopper 1 of 1 that he started at 80,000. I think he's down to like 20,000 now, but slowly kind of creeping down. And I messaged him. I'm like, hey, when you're ready to sell that, I'm ready. I'm ready. And he's like, I'm just going to wait for season 5 and all that stuff. So it's such a cool card though, because those 1 of 1s just, especially because no one gives a crap about Stranger Things cards. So, it could very well be in a kid opened it and it's in like a shoebox somewhere. It's not like the new national, it's not the new Flawless that everybody's like, oh, we got to find the 1 of 1 logo man. Like these came out in 2018 and nobody cared. So it really could be anywhere.
But could you imagine giving a crap on a gold Hopper? I don't know.
I'm really pissed at myself. I didn't realize. So we're going to New York City Comic Con in a month, and I guess Millie Bobby Brown has a book that just came out or something, or is coming out, and she was doing a event off site at New York City Comic Con. They had VIP tickets, and they were actually very reasonable. And they sold out, but the VIP ticket got you a signed book and a photo op.
Oh, nice.
But they were only like, I forget how much they were, but they did not seem that expensive considering you got an autographed book and a photo op.
So one thing I saw with her is so if you look back at her in-person autos, she used to sign all of them 011 for 11. And I just saw somebody sent me like, hey, she's doing like one of those mail-in things where you can mail in an item or whatever. And so okay, I'll look into it.
Is it through SWA?
Yeah, it's like through one of these companies where it's like you can mail it in for a few $100 or whatever.
Yeah,
and
SWAU does a lot of those.
Like you can pay $50 for her to put 11, but no trading cards. So it's only like Funko Pops and it's 8x10s.
I wonder why she won't do trading cards.
I don't know, but I have probably 10 of the trading card versions that are authenticated by Beckett. Because she's just not. I don't know if she'll open it back up and do the 11. But look, once she moves on from Stranger Things, she's ready to move on and do other stuff. She's not going to sign anything 11. She's going to sign that MBB, moving forward. So,
yeah. I actually just bought a ticket today. They went on sale for Mary Elizabeth Winston, who plays Hera in Ahsoka. I'm doing an autograph signing for her. At
Which
New
one's
Jersey
Sarah?
Comic-Con.
She's the green.
Oh, the green one.
How do you
General.
not?
General.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
She's like she's the green alien babe.
With the leather hat,
Oh,
the
my
leather
goodness.
hat and the goggles.
She was Ramona Flowers
Yeah.
and Scott Pilgrim.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Okay, so
What the hell? Oh, my chat's gonna rush
guys,
you.
the second that a Marvel show comes out, I don't drop everything and rush over and just cram in 12 episodes.
One,
I got a
Star
Bobby Brown
Wars is
autograph.
not Marvel. Two, Scott Pilgrim is not Marvel. I'm so pissed. Tom Hiddleston's gonna be there, and he's only there Saturday and Sunday, and we're there Thursday and Friday.
This is actually a good point. 28 million people watched the Lions versus the Chiefs. Oh, no, I thought you were actually talking about Monday Night Football, because Monday Night Football set some sort of a record too. Not even the opening night game, but like Monday Night Football set some sort of record. It's just nuts. And it was just kind of like a whatever. Super Bowl, very corporate. Yeah. It's all about the experience, the parties and all that. The game itself, you know, if your team's playing, that's one thing.
I have my speaking of Stranger Things, I have my Sadie Sink auto at PSA right now.
Oh, do you?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Yeah, I don't think anyone has more graded Stranger Things cards than I do. So and speaking of, I'll be at the Atlanta Culture Collision show set up, and I'll have all that stuff. I won't have all of it, but I'll have some of it out there. I've got a bunch of dupes and stuff I'm going to bring out there to share with the world.
I can't wait for you to be overpriced on stuff when people make reaction content.
It might be like 5 videos of me just not selling one card. Just be like sitting there like.
Ian has a comment asking me a question.
Where is it?
Well, I don't know if he's asking me a question. Oh yeah, he is asking me a question. Ian Miller, 1024, last comment.
Oh, okay. Let me scroll down.
It's just to do with the
this should be a fun one.
It's not. I mean, look, it's not going to be a bash fest.
You're still boycotting BGS.
Okay, so I was never like boycotting BGS. I was just like I said in my video when I talked about them, I was putting my grading submissions on pause to go to them. That just means until I feel comfortable again. But that's not me saying boycott BGS, don't send your cards. That's just me saying they sent my cards to the wrong address. Nice. That doesn't make me feel very good. But everything else about that grading submission was great. I thought the price was fair. I thought the turnaround time was good. I thought the slabs looked great. I got the grades were fair. You know, everything else was good. It was just the fact that it went to the wrong address, and then I couldn't get any help on the other side. Basically, I had to reach out to FedEx and have the package rerouted because I couldn't get any help from BGS customer service. And I've had good interactions with BGS customer service in person at the National. They had really good customer service. I said that in my national videos. I said that in my video the other day. But when I found out my package was going to the wrong address, basically for the 3 or 4 days it was taking it to be delivered, I was not in panic mode, but I was worried. I was like, am I going to get my cards? You know, are they going to go to the wrong address? Am I going to get them? Can I get them redirected? And things like that. So, and the fact that going back and forth with the emails from BGS, they still insisted that they send them to the right spot. And nobody stepped up and has said, we're sorry, that was our mistake. I don't want anything out of it. Don't say, hey, that's our mistake. I'm sorry. Here's 5 free grades. No, I don't want shit. Just somebody step up and say, we made a mistake. We'll fix your address. It won't happen again. But that hasn't even happened. The last email I got from BGS was saying, has this been taken care of yet? And I'm like, yes, it has been taken care of because I took care of it myself because nobody on your end reached out to me to help take care of it.
Bob is going to watch.
That's where it's
at. Steve, Bob's going to watch your videos 3 times to take notes for next year's grueling 32-round national contest.
So do I want to still send cards to Beckett? I do. I have cards specifically I want to send to them. But right now, actually 3 of those cards that were going to Beckett are going to CGC, and I'm going to try them out, and I'm going to see what my experience is with them. And because I like their slab, I think the label looks
beautiful
cool.
Crystal clear slab.
Yeah. And I like SGC. I got cards I want to send to them. The cards that I send to Beckett and CGC are cards that I don't think will look good in an SGC slab. Now, that's not me saying the SGC slab is crap. I'm not saying that the tux doesn't look good. I'm just saying there's some cards that just don't look good in it. So I like those clear framed things. And then there's some cards that look great in a SGC slab. I have 2 Andrew Lincoln Walking Dead autos from the first series. And I'm sending one to SGC and I'm sending one to CGC. They were both going to go to Beckett, but I'm sending one to each company and I'm going to get them both back, see how they graded, see how they look in each different slab, and see how they sell in the second. And see how they see how they sell in the secondary market in each slab. So
throw them in the hot tub, see how it goes. Thoughts on Liquid Marketplace? I'm actually halfway through Rattle Pokemon's episode. He's got a couple episodes, but there was one today on Liquid Marketplace. This is the Logan Paul thing. I don't know, but so Rattle is basically saying that the $3 million box or case or whatever the hell Pokemon thing, the we got duped G.I. Joe cards, was supposed to go on the Liquid Marketplace or so. There's a story behind it, and I haven't gotten through it yet, but it's interesting. I like Rattle. Rattle did the whole series on Blake Martinez and his shenanigans, and now he's got his eyes set on Liquid Marketplace. So I'm trying to get caught up there.
I haven't watched anything on it yet, so I'm completely out of the loop. Besides seeing some random tweets from M&T Trading.
What is Liquid Marketplace?
It's a Logan Paul marketplace, but then there's maybe Shine's on it. Shine might be in on it. Like there's a few people that have started it up.
It's like a platform, I guess.
Yeah.
It's a
okay.
platform.
Yeah, I haven't even heard of it.
I think they were trying to maybe fractionalize some stuff on it. I don't really know enough about it, so I'm just going to sound stupid. And I don't want to sound stupid because I know you guys know that I always do not sound stupid.
Then why do you open your mouth in the first place?
See, like, okay. Yeah, resale value is just it can be all over the place. But yeah, PSA is still the king of resale for modern, ultra modern for sure. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Unless I guess you get into some non-sports. If you get into rare enough stuff, it doesn't matter. If the stuff is rare, if it's numbered out of 101s, numbered out of 10, whatever, then it doesn't matter what it's sitting in.
Yeah, on that point, that's why I was talking. Like I just talked about the 2 Walking Dead autographs, and I'm going to send one to SGC and one to CGC.
Right.
Because if I put those, there's not PSA slabs of those on eBay, so there's no slab competition. I've always called it. So if people want it in the slab, they got to buy it in the slab that is out there. So that's the type of stuff that I'm grading with these companies right now, and I want to see the CGC because Walking Dead has a huge comic book tie-in also. So if I'm going out with those type of cards, it might touch the comic book market, and in a CGC slab, that would be great.
Dan, I know I'm biased, but any card that has color because it's black and white. No, I hear you. It's like it's all a personal preference. Some people like the tux, and some people don't. I know Rob doesn't like how it feels and all that because he's all about the CGC slab. But that's fine. That's fine. Speaking of slabs, Arena Club. Do we have any thoughts on Arena Club? I've never held an Arena Club slab, so
I've never held one either. I mean, my general take is I don't see the purpose of any grading company outside the big 4. Like we have 4 very legitimate grading companies. If you don't like one, use one of the other ones. Why waste your time with one of these randos?
Honestly, to Rare Edition, so they create the brick, the nuclear bomb resistant slab, but they've actually got like where you can record. They gave me a slab at the National, and it was really cool. It was a Pokemon card for my son, for my youngest, but I could record a message that's kind of like tied into some sort of like NFT thing that's attached to it. I thought that was actually kind of cool. Like if you're going to come up with something innovative that's outside of competing on the grading side, and it's more of PC, because they just have PC slab where it's like, hey, we're not necessarily grading it. We're throwing it in a slab. We're slabbing it up, but it's not really about the grade. It's more about just the memory or the collectible or whatever. That was innovative. I thought that was cool. So I think it's just more about, companies picking their spots. I don't think anyone thinks they're going to, dive into I think the top 4 are pretty set up.
I mean, do we really think most of these pop-up grading companies are going to exist in like 3 to 5 years?
I think it's tough unless there's some sort of, there's some sort of innovative thing, something changes.
I would almost argue that one of the big four might not exist in 3 to 5 years.
Yeah.
At least as it's
current. Is Arena Club a grading company?
Yeah.
It's the Derek Jeter one.
Oh, okay. It sounds like a preferred member at a sports bar or something. I didn't even really know what it was. I don't even remember the Arena Club.
They're a grading company and marketplace with trading, I believe.
Okay.
Yep, that's right. That's true.
The funny part is that which this was a trivia question in the Discord the other day. Arena Club's actually graded more cards than Tag, which I don't think most people would probably realize that.
Oh, I missed that commentary. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I haven't verified that. I think it came from Andy. I don't remember, but yeah. I mean, Tag has not graded that many cards. I don't think people realize exactly how small their pop report is.
I mean,
the Tag bots don't care.
They've been marketing. That's for damn sure. Tag has been.
They have more paid bots than cards on their pop report, I think.
The Arena Club look gorgeous. I'm interested in their AI grading consistency. Okay, we have an Arena Club fan. Paper products don't look good in a tux. If only there was Chrome cards. If only there was.
See, you know what's so tough about
Chrome cards don't look good in a tux either.
Well, what's so tough about
man, you're just a baby and you just don't like the way that you don't like the way that the thing feels. That's
what's so tough about the new grading companies, or what we would consider to be new, coming into the space now, as there's probably, definitely a little bit of a downturn in the amount of people in the hobby as far as people who came in for the quick buck. Yeah.
I think there's less people now than there was in 2020?
Yes.
Oh, I don't think that there is. I think there's more.
Wait, say that again.
So Steve is saying he thinks there's more hobby people going back to 2020, 2021 boom time than there is right now.
There was more in 2020 than now.
More people, that were in it.
It would just depend on when in 2020. You know what I mean?
Right. I'm talking at the height of people coming in and flipping cards and selling cards that were strictly here to make money. I don't think. I'm not saying some of them weren't still here. Some of them probably came in and they stuck, but they came in 2020. I don't think 100% of those people stuck around.
Oh, well, yeah, that's obvious for sure.
So I think I think it's where numbers have come down since the height. And that's the reason why it's the height.
I actually think that more people.
It would still be height if it hadn't come down.
I guess what I'm saying is I think more people have come in with prices being down to where people can actually afford stuff. I
don't think more people have come in. I just think more people are buying cards that they couldn't necessarily afford in 2020.
I think it's a combination. I mean, I don't know. I see it all the time on social media where it's like, hey, just getting back in to cards, literally like brand new coming back in. I think there's new people coming in. I don't know the numbers. Maybe you're right. Maybe there are more people going back to 2021, but I don't know. It just doesn't feel like that. And now maybe they're not spending, maybe there's not as many whales. Maybe there's not as many Gary V style whales that are spending, but are there more people spending less money that are spending, $100 a month on cards? I think yes, but of course I don't have anything to back that up.
I feel like there's less. Now, it's not something you're going to see at card shows because card shows can only hold a certain amount of people anyway. It's not something you're going to see at events and stuff because those events are meant to be crowded, and so they are. But I feel like at the peak of things, during our perfect storm of everything, of when prices were through the roof and everything, I do feel like there's less people. Do I see it at shows? No. Do I see it in things that I view? No. Do I see it in YouTube content? Maybe. Do you see it in YouTube views? Things you can also judge it by things like that.
The YouTube views thing is tricky because it's hard to compare views today to 2020 and 2021 because everyone was locked indoors. So views were higher just because people didn't have anything else to watch. Right.
But I think that translates hand in hand with people in the hobby. They were getting their sports fix from sports cards because we talked about it. No gambling, nothing. You can't go out in the summer and do anything. There's no gambling. There's no sports to watch on TV. Look at the Last Dance documentary. Things like that. It's kind of like there were so many things that brought people in. I don't think that I'm not saying they all left. I'm saying some people came back and they got a new refound love for something that they probably loved when they were a kid. and it rekindled that flame, that nostalgia. They found something. Oh, it was a blessing for this to happen because it got me back into something that I really loved. But then there's other people who are like, I don't care about this. I was here to make some money. Peace, see you later. The money is few and far between now.
That's always going to be the case, though. I mean, we just had a huge influx in 2020, 2021.
But I just right. So I feel like there's less people. That doesn't mean that there's less transactions, because as prices go down, you're going to have more transactions. So you're going to still see transactions.
I guess the big question is, do you feel like the people that are here now, is there more people that are here for kind of the gambling element of kind of the evolution of that in the card market versus collecting cards and just buying, doing it with their kids, or also just getting back in, hey, I'm going to buy random cards from my childhood or something? Or are they in because it's, there's a sports betting element to it?
I don't think there's many people in due to a sports betting element, because gamblers are going to spend their money on gambling. I
would disagree with that. I mean, look at breaks. It's literally gambling.
Yeah, but how many breakers have come and gone since the height?
Yeah, but
you still got your big dogs, but the small
big ones still turn massive amounts of product around.
Well, they do, but anybody could pop up on Instagram and do a break back then, and people would buy into it because there was no product on the shelves anywhere.
I mean,
you can't do that anymore. You could literally go to Walmart. You could literally go to Walmart, because I did it on a Facebook group, and Dustin, you know that I did, and I did it for fun. Yeah. But I literally went to Walmart and bought a bunch of Bowman baseball and did a break with it.
That's what I'm saying. Steve, now you can go to Walmart. Like, we can go to Walmart right now and do a break. Like, I could go to Walmart.
But nobody's going to buy into a retail break now, because they can go to Walmart and buy the retail product on their own, and then the retail product is crap now anyway. You could break anything then. You could break anything. It didn't matter what the product was, and people were going to buy into it. People are buying into the top end products now. They're not buying into everything. And
that's still gambling, though.
And your big breakers are still around because they were around before the boom. They're around now. This is their business and what they do. But people who just got in 2020, it was like, oh, I'm going to start a breaker channel. I'm going to say a big percentage of them are not successful now.
There's tons of people still gambling on sports cards.
I didn't say that they weren't. I didn't say that they weren't.
Question: how many people have shifted over to repack products? Rob, you could probably speak to this. I didn't realize how big repack products were until a Hit Parade was offering like 85, 90%.
National. You find that we argued about this how many times. You're like, nah, it's not that big of a deal. And you walk past the Hit Parade booth and realize, oh my God, I'm so wrong on this.
Dude, when the Hit Parade booth is paying better than way better than the dealers, then I just didn't realize how popular those products are. The repack products are like insanely popular. And maybe that's something where it's like, if I buy into a break, I know I'm not I might not get anything, but at least with a repack, I've got a shot to get something. But then I might, I've got like if it's a good repack product, if you feel good about all right, these guys do a fair repack product, then maybe that's where a lot of the money went to. I don't know.
I mean, I'm not big on repack products, but I know that someone is making a ton of money on them because they spend.
I'm not saying I'm a fan of them. I'm just saying, where did the money? Where's the money moving to? And that's obviously a spot where it's moving to.
I mean, a lot of that stuff sells and moves on Whatnot too, and stuff like that. Like, a lot of people sell those, on those platforms that we're not really paying a ton of attention to. But I mean, repack products inject so much money, so much liquidity into the space. I talk to the show promoters that run locally, and they know, like, oh yeah, the repack guy was here. He spent $40,000 at the show this weekend buying stuff for repacks. So I always said, if regulation ever comes that ban repacks, sell everything that you have, because everything's going to drop.
Yeah, I sold a lot of stuff at the National to repackers, and they actually pay a better percentage than dealers do. Yeah, he said I was annoying, but he at least called me by my name. Shit, I can't even pronounce his name.
I was going to say there's a 33.33% chance that it's.
Yeah, which guy are you talking about, Rules?
Oh, he's probably talking about me. I think I was talking at that time. But then again, you never know what the comments.
Take your shirt off, so that's another 33.33%.
But I also think a lot of people took me saying that there's less people in the hobby right now as me saying that it's dead, or me saying that there's less people breaking, that me saying breaking is dead. I think you guys are like being really extreme with what I'm saying. I think that there's less.
You know what?
Okay, but I'm not saying that it's dead.
I triggered everybody a little bit when I put Brad's face on the thumbnail. Look where we are here. The hinge date stories. But here's the problem, and this is where you guys are finicky watching, is I remember there being like, I don't want to hear about hinge date. I don't want to hear about hinge. When are you guys going to talk about cards? When are you going to talk about this or that? So it's never going to be good enough. It's never going to be good enough. You're low key accurate. So kind of a compliment there. All right, guys, we are an hour and 40 minutes in. It's 10:43.
The guy who said I was annoying actually has a comment, and I think I want to ask him. He says San Dimas High School rules. Is San Dimas the school from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure?
Have we confirmed that he was talking about you?
Simon has a great channel.
I'm just going to take it. I'm just going to say that he was talking about me.
This take is halfway right. Neo's theory videos on repacks is one of the best I've heard about the hobby that I've never heard anywhere else. I was talking to Neo about this, and then he started making a bunch of videos about it. And I'm like, hey, you could at least like throw me a bone and just say like, hey, we talked about it, but that's fine.
I think I did. I said in this video that Dustin completely agrees with this take, and he's completely wrong.
Neo only throws me in when he wants to say that I was wrong and he was right.
My favorite part of the national was you walking up to me and being like, I was so wrong on repacks.
All right, real quick before we go, let's pick each other's fantasy games for this week. If
I'm going to
win, let me see. I'm against Chris Soul.
Losing to Will Greer.
I'm against Chris Soul, sports card, baseball card collector, investor, dealer. I always get the order wrong. Is it in that order?
Collector, investor, dealer. Yeah.
Collector, investor, dealer, and the name of his team is in that order. So, what do you guys think? You think I beat him this week? He's projected 125 to 120 over me. He's projected to beat me by 5 points, but I don't know if I put in my maximized lineup yet.
I haven't even set my lineup, so I probably should get on that.
Everybody counted me out against Dakota because Dakota's the football expert. That's all I heard.
Who counted you out against Dakota? Half his team was hurt before the season started.
Yeah,
that's why I intentionally sat Brandon Ayuk to give him some help.
Yes.
And that was my high scorer on my bench. I sat him right before kickoff. I was like, you know what? I don't want any excuses when I beat Dakota. I don't want any excuses. I don't want to hear Mark Andrews was hurt. Oh, Cooper Kupp is out. I said, you know what? I'm going to sit Brandon Ayuk, and the excuses are all gone. And I still won. Can't draft players that are injury prone anyway. Cooper Kupp was questionable when he got drafted. That's why he got pushed all the way to the back of the first round.
Why did Joe Burrow go before Josh Allen?
Because Dustin has never played fantasy football before.
No, I just watched I watched Josh Allen. He looks terrible. I think Josh Allen's taking a step back.
Look, Josh Allen still
outscored Joe Burrow.
He had 4 turnovers and still outscored Joe Burrow.
Everybody outscored Joe Burrow. So you're not like –
except Daniel Jones.
That's why
that was close.
That's why I keep talking about it, because it's that irritating.
Yeah, you're right. Daniel Jones did outscore him. Daniel Jones had 4 points. He did outscore.
I did not buy this one, Phoenix. No, I did not buy this one. I don't think I did. Just buy a camo parallel, but it was 2008. It's 2018 is numbered to 25. I'm still not sure if I want to go. The earlier versions are not numbered. I do like the camo. I think he had like 2013. It just wasn't. It wasn't in the cards at that point.
All right, Dustin, you're against Jeff Wilson, man.
No, I'm not. I'm against Doug.
Jeff Wilson.
Neo's against Jeff Wilson. Let me look at this lineup real quick.
I got him. He's got Aaron Jones on thing.
Oh yeah, he's got a bad hammy.
I did just lose J.K. Dobbins for the season, so that was fun.
Yeah, I saw that one. It hurt. Man, he's got. Stephon Diggs, and Stephon Diggs is going to eat into your Josh Allen output. I hate that. That's what happened to Ken this week. He had Tua with that huge game, but he was playing sports card therapist with Tyreek Hill. He ate up all Tua's points.
Who's going to be his running backs, though? He's got Aaron Jones hurt, and his other running back is Miles freaking Sanders. I'm not scared of
Miles Sanders. But you got Miles Sanders. But if you look at the matchup, it's Miles Sanders versus Isaiah Pacheco for you. So head-to-head, that's about even. I got to see. You do got Bijan Robinson, who I like. He was my first-round pick in my high-stakes draft.
I might end up starting Gus Edwards over Isaiah.
He could throw Tyler Algier in there, man, because that sucks. Because I know you had to be annoyed with the usage of Robinson or how much usage.
I got 20-some points out of him. I'm not going to complain about.
I know you got 20 out of him, and you won. But say, for instance, you needed more because somebody else had a really good score or something against you. Like to see him get 20 points and have 10 carries, to see him get out touched in carries 15-10 by Algier, who also got both goal line touchdown runs, that's just annoying for somebody who spends a first round pick on Bijan Robinson. For me, I'm speaking from my own experience in my high stakes league, which is a lot of money. He was my first round pick at pick 7. And I was just,
I'm in 5 leagues this week. I went 5-0. I did not lose a game this week in any of my fantasy leagues.
Well, you know what that means? It's going to be a shitty week for you, Rob. That's how it works.
I'm feeling good.
I saw that first Robinson touchdown. I was like, oh, yeah.
And then chat complainer.
After that, it was like,
chat complainer.
Steve can't run chat because he only has one monitor. He's the only person in America in 2023.
That has nothing to do with running chat. I can run chat with one monitor.
They just don't want to do it because they can't take the heat when they get behind in chat. It's okay. I can handle it. Look, guys, I did a pretty good job tonight. I think everyone would agree.
Actually, it was more annoying seeing David Montgomery get as much work over Jahmyr Gibbs as he got.
Yeah,
Dustin hates on me for Gibbs.
No, he's good. I'll give you that. I just like to mess with you. He did really good.
Oh, that's right. Dustin's playing Ziggy this week. That is the big game. How did we avoid that topic after we brought it up in the?
Because Dustin keeps dodging it.
I don't know, but it's an hour 45 in, and I got to take a piss.
Yeah, you're right.
Love you guys, but I got to take a piss.
Hey, well, you're projected to win. That's the good news.
Yeah, well, we'll see. Those projections don't really mean much until once game day hits. All right, guys. Anything you want to say before we head on?
No. Just 2 weeks from now we'll be back.
2 weeks we will be back. Steve, if you want to run the chat, you know that I'm always open to you running the thing, and then the chat. if you like,
put up a post on your YouTube channel and put up a poll and see. Put you, Neo, and me, and see how many people.
Oh, well, they'll pick Neo.
Oh, that's perfect. We don't want them to pick us.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to do it, so that's
right. We get more hate on that post than
you told me. You told me in a private DM that the only reason you were bringing Neo in is so that he could eventually take over the comment duties.
No,
and I was like,
and you, how it is.
And you
I need an increase. I need an increase in my feed.
That part.
You're like, Steve, do you mind if
I like doing the chat? I like doing it. I might be slow at it, but I like doing it.
You were like, hey man, I'm thinking about bringing in Neo. What do you think? I was like, maybe. I was like, well, what does he have to bring to the live? I was like, I think he has knowledge.
He
I
brought
think he's
me because I bring more views than he gets.
And Dustin was like, no. We just get him. He gets limited mic time, but we get him to take care of the comments.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
He just wanted my viewership. I know the real truth.
Yeah, that's why I have Steve here too. We need that viewership.
You're not getting the viewership from me. I'm piggybacking off you guys.
Oh, flipping Steve.
We got 19 people from Flippin' Steve's channel right now watching.
Hey.
All right, y'all. Let's end it. It's the witching hour. It's 10:51. We'll be back again in 2 weeks.
Travis. I apologize, Travis.
All right. See you guys.
See ya.